Welcome, everyone, to the celebration of Tuck's class of 2015, our 115th. Welcome to our faculty and staff, our soon-to-be minted Tuck graduates, and all of their family and friends. I want to give a special welcome to Dartmouth trustees Sherry Oberg and Emily Bakemeyer, who are with us today. I want to extend congratulations to two professors who have received the Teaching Excellence Award in this academic year. Praveen Kopali for core teaching and Dan Feeler for electives. The purpose of this award is to celebrate the learning environment at Tuck by honoring the faculty who, in the eyes of the students, have made an outstanding contribution to the quality of the educational experience. Dan and Praveen, congratulations. You 276 graduates now join the ranks of one of the most selective and talented groups of all, the 10,000-strong Tuck alumni who are acknowledged worldwide as the most effective alumni network. I have been privileged to be the dean for 20 years, which is about 17% of Tuck's existence in time, but during which about 50% of all of our alumni have attended. Tuck's administrators, professors, my band of brothers and sisters and I have had a long adventure in teaching and in testing just how good a residential academic experience can be. Today, I'm happy to report, and I hope you agree, that based on my own admittedly biased analysis, Tuck provides the best learning experience in any professional school anywhere. So I give my very high marks to all of my colleagues in this endeavor. During my 20 years, I've seen so many business leaders just like you launched into their careers. But no matter how high or where in the world they go, they keep their roots firmly planted in this rich soil. And then years and even decades later, they're still connected and singing the praises of their learning experience in this quaint and wonderful corner of the world. I've seen them blossom and grow and become important and trusted leaders with a difference, a Tuck attitude. It's remarkable how your self-selection and our screening come together to work so well to assemble people of admirable character, high potential, and with a great passion for creating communities and programs and reinforcing the noble characteristics of sharing, helping, and social contribution. Now, here comes the obligatory advice from the old guy at the podium at graduation time. I've done it for so long that I can't resist. There's a very short list, but with a distinct Tuck twist. First, your network is never done. Build on your personal web of relationships and build it with your Tuck colleagues at the core. Keep learning from them and depending on them. Second, your learning is never over. You've got a great foundation of needed skills and knowledge with your 2 years here at Tuck. It gives you a foundation, but you must keep expanding and deepening it, especially your specific domain. Do what you can to know more about your company, your neighborhood, your society. Third, continuously refresh your leadership style. Whenever you hit a snag with others, ask how the ideal Tuck student would treat others in that situation and resolve to make your conduct reach that ideal. Your leadership motto should remain helping others achieve. The more you do of that, the more you will be identified as a leader worthy of more responsibility. I leave Tuck after 20 years with much the same sentiments that you probably have right now. I am happy with my choice of this school and of having been chosen by this school. I am happy to have worked with wonderful people who have made me better and make this school great. I look forward to a future with optimism for Tuck and for my family. This past year has been a continuous celebration for me. And when the whole student body gave me that surprise toast right here a couple of weeks ago, I felt the way you did when you got your surprise toast in the fall of your first year. So thank you, students, for doing that. My overarching emotions at this time are profound gratitude and a feeling of good fortune. I want to thank my family, Mary Ellen, my closest and dearest companion. We have been, as they say, an item for over 50 years. She and I have been so blessed to represent Tuck all over the world in hundreds of meetings, absorbing the goodwill of so many who have abiding good feelings about their Tuck experience. My daughters, sons-in-law, and granddaughters, Melissa and Mike, and their delightful wee ones, Charlotte and Olivia, Amanda and Clay, and the wonderful Selma, who for 16 years has been the best of friends and is now such an accomplished young woman, and of whom Mary Ellen and I couldn't be more proud. I believe I can say, as many of you would say, the time I spent at Tuck was the best, both personally and professionally. And finally, I know that I leave the school in the great hands of Professor Matt Slaughter, who is a perfect choice as Tuck's next dean. And I want to thank all of the alumni who contributed to endow the deanship in my name, which will provide a great asset for all future deans, and which is a profound honor for me, especially with Matt being the first holder of that title. Perhaps my team's greatest accomplishment in these 20 years is that we have kept the students' experience and welfare at the center of our efforts, making it better and better. Your experience in the last 2 years has been the product of their concern and their effort. I want to thank the faculty, staff, associate deans, and particularly Associate Dean Bob Hanson, who has been the rock of my administration in all 20 years. We all trust that you are motivated to keep cycling back, coming back here for the rest of your lives to participate in this great endeavor. I envy you graduates because you're both prepared to make extraordinary contributions to your organizations and your societies, and you have all the time in the world. And I'm gratified that Tuck will have played a big role in your brilliant futures. As you go forth to grasp responsibility as only a Tucky can, I wish you health, happiness, and success. Thank you very much. Now I want to introduce our speaker today. Carlos Rodriguez Pastor is chairman of Intercorp and general partner of Nexus Group. Intercorp and Nexus Group invest primarily in Peru and the Andean region and manage portfolio companies in financial services, retail, real estate, education, leisure, and entertainment, and flexible packaging with over 50,000 team members and revenues of approximately $5 billion US. Carlos is also co-founder and chairman of Innova Schools, member of the executive board of the Royalty Pharma, co-chairman of the International Advisory Council of the America Society, Council of the Americas, member of the Tuck School, Business School Board of Overseers, member of the David Rockefeller Center for Latin American Studies at Harvard, member of the Acquisition Committee of the Museum of Modern Art of New York, member of the Latin American Conservation Council in partnership with the Nature Conservatory, and member of the Corporate Development Committee at MIT. So his accomplishments are legion. Carlos is a graduate with a BA in Social Sciences from the University of California at Berkeley and obtained an MBA from Tuck in 1988. Please welcome Carlos Pastor.
Thank you, Dean Danos, for both your kind introduction and for all you've accomplished as our leader at the Tuck School for the past 20 years. This institution is very, very different than the one I graduated in 1988. I would say it's even better. Congratulations to you on your distinguished career as our dean, and I wish you and your wife, Mary Ellen, all the best. I also want to wish our new dean, Professor Matt Slaughter, my best wishes. I've been fortunate enough to get to know him over the past few years, and I can tell you he's a very talented educator, researcher, and thought leader, while also having a real and exciting passion for both Tuck and Tuck students. Welcome, Dean Slaughter. It's a true honor for me to be with you this afternoon, participating in the celebration of 276 exceptional individuals who are successfully graduating from the country's oldest and best business school. Congratulations, Tuck Class of 2015. But I know you're not the only proud people here today. The entire incredible Tuck faculty is proud to be with you, celebrating your achievement, and I hope celebrating the hand they've had in your success. The Tuck faculty is what makes this school truly unique. I know firsthand how special they are, as 13 of the Tuck faculty members today were here when I graduated. Congratulations, faculty. Your support systems, your parents, partners, family members, and friends may be the proudest of all, though. Their beaming faces clearly communicate how loved, encouraged, and celebrated you are. Their sacrifices of finances, energy, and time help get you here. They're truly the unsung heroes of today. Congratulations to you as well. When I graduated Tuck, my father was in attendance. This was incredibly important to me, as he was one of the key influencers in my life. Someone who counseled me, shaping how I look at life, my career, and how I understand what success truly means. These influences never really leave you, nor does the importance of having a great support system. Even today, I have my own support system in attendance. My wife, Gabriela, and my two sons, Martin and Franco, are here. Thank you very much for coming as well. But support systems and influences don't always come in the forms you expect. One of the other most influential and important people in my life was General Juan Velasco Alvarado. I am grateful for him and the impact he's had on my life. This fact may surprise you when I tell you who he was and what he did to my family. In 1968, when I was 9 years old, my family and I were living in our homeland of Peru. That year, General Velasco led a coup d'etat using the armed forces to seize absolute power, close down Congress, and depose the democratically elected administration, exiling the sitting president. At the time, my father was the head of the central bank and was seen as a threat to the new regime. Velasco made unfounded accusations against him in hopes of throwing him in jail. My father was forced to make a very difficult decision. Under the cover of night, he escaped from Peru, temporarily leaving his entire family behind. 6 months later, my mother, my 5 brothers and sisters, and myself left early one morning in an escape similar to that in the movie The Sound of Music, hurrying out of the country, away from the rest of our family, our friends, our language, and our lives. You can imagine how difficult this was for a boy of my age and for the rest of my family. We eventually made our way to the United States, where we had to begin all over again. My father took a position with a bank, many rungs lower down the ladder than he'd been on in Peru. I had to start at a brand new school, forced to make new friends, convincing them that the boy with a strange accent was someone worthy of acceptance. General Velasco threatened us, forcing us to leave the land we loved. He made life miserable for the vast majority of Peruvians, hobbling the economy for many years to come. Yet, today I can stand here and say, I am thankful for him. I count him as a powerful force of good in my life. I can even say, I'm glad he did what he did to us. How could I possibly see him this way? To me, it comes down to having altered a key default setting. Think about the default settings on a new phone for a moment. The Bluetooth is automatically on, the brightness at a certain level, and the ringtone sounds like a robot falling down the stairs. When you get a new phone, you check those default settings to make sure they're right for you. And if they're not, you change them. You go against the defaults. For the most part, it's very easy to change those default settings. Our world has default settings too. There are a prescribed list of ways we're informed and instructed to look at the world around us, becoming it socially, culturally, and through the media. The default settings give us our perspective on all we experience. Those default settings are helpful tools, but they're not always right. In fact, those default settings can frequently stand between you and your success in life. Sadly, they can be much more difficult to change than the settings on your iPhone. Today, I'd like to talk to you about 3 areas where you may be tempted to default to the world's given settings. They are adversity, your career, and how you define success. General Velasco was an adversary of my family and I. That word, adversary, shares the same root as the word adversity. Both describe people, situations, or occurrences that seem to keep us where we want to go. The world's default setting tells me I should look at him as an impediment to my progress. But I don't want to see him that way. I want to see him instead as something that impelled me toward progress. Without him, I might never have made it to the United States. And if I've never made it to this country, I might never have received a world-class education. I never would have attended a prestigious undergraduate school, and I definitely would never have had the opportunity to study and graduate from Tuck. Without this education, I never would have gained the tools I needed to go on to a career in banking in the United States. And I never would have gained the experience needed for me to return to my homeland of Peru and help reshape its banking industry, its economy, and now its education system. Adversity is not necessarily an obstacle. It doesn't have to be something you avoid or simply endure. Instead, I've learned to see challenges as opportunities. And if I choose to, I can use them to my advantage instead of trying to figure out how to get away from them. In 1990, my father called me from Peru, asking if I'd consider leaving my job as a Wall Street investment banker to return to my homeland and help him as he sought to purchase a bank and turn it around. Now, this bank wasn't just any bank. It was the absolute smallest bank in all of Peru. I knew I wanted to, at some point, return to Peru and work alongside my father. But on the smallest bank in the entire country, that didn't seem like a great opportunity. My father, though, was never one to see adversity as simply a challenge. He saw it as an open door. And he told me, Carlos, don't think of this bank as the smallest bank in Peru. Instead, think of it as the 25th largest bank in the country. After committing to building up Banco Interandino, we sought out investors and partners, careful to always describe the bank in positive terms, focusing on its potential. And I'm happy to say that over the last 2.5 decades, my team and I have turned that initial banking platform into one of the biggest retail banks in all of Peru and one of the best performing in all of Latin America. Viewing adversity this way is important to me, but it's also what I look for in potential employees and executives who want to move up in our businesses. In fact, when I have my eye on promising executives in my organization, I don't make their jobs easier. An easy job tells me nothing about them. It also tells them nothing about themselves. Instead, I challenge them. Every year, we take a group of young executives to the World Economic Forum. It's a wonderful experience for all of us as we get to hear from powerful heads of state, leading thinkers, and economic strategists. When we first arrive, I take the executives aside and give them their passes for the week. Everyone gets white all-access badges, except one. I choose one person I want to challenge and test, so I give him a green badge. This is the badge of an administrator. Can you imagine how this executive feels? The green badge means they have to be the one running to make the copies, getting the food orders, and serving the team. The green badge means they cannot enter the speaker sessions. They have to stay outside with the rest of the administrators, running errands. Now, I'm not doing this as punishment. In fact, in some ways, I'm doing this to reward them because I see something in them worth calling out and encouraging. So after I give them their green badge, I walk away and watch. I'm watching to see what they'll do. The brightest, sharpest, and most determined of them do whatever it takes to get inside those speaker sessions. The one who received the green badge last year pretended to be a waiter, swapped badges with somebody else, and eventually figured out how to personally meet the President of Mexico. When executives keep adversity from holding them back, I couldn't be more proud. It lets me know they're the kind of hard workers who see adversity as opportunities, and instead of shrinking from them, race toward them. I want that quality in myself, and I want that in the people I work with. So, change your adversity default. Change it from avoid to seek out. When you do that, you'll find yourself running toward challenges instead of away from them, earning the rewards you deeply want and need on the other side. You will spend the vast majority of the rest of your life on your career. More than the time you spend with your family, more than the time you spend on your hobbies, with friends, even sleeping. So with something that important, that takes up that much of time, your most valuable resource, it's vital you get your setting right. When I graduated college, I took a job in Peru. I was like you, eager for my first job out of school, ready to make a name for myself, and ready to pay back my student loans. The first day, my manager handed me a stack of Newsweek and Time magazines and told me to translate certain articles from English to Spanish. That was all he wanted me to do. I couldn't believe it. So I spent the day translating, then walked back to my boss, handed the translations back to him and said, "Today is my first day here. It's also my last day here. You don't have to pay me. You get today for free. But I can't spend my life doing work like this." And I quit right then and there. I just walked away from a respectable, stable paying job. I walked away because I knew I couldn't stay in a position that asked so little of me or that asked the wrong thing of me. I wanted a job that moved me, stirred my passions, and helped me become the person I knew I was meant to become. I found another job, and the same thing happened. I was unchallenged and bored. So at my father's urging, I drew out a 10 by 10 grid in a notebook and committed to staying with that job for at least 100 days. Sure enough, after 100 days, I was still unmotivated and unchallenged. I turned in my notice on the 100th day. Eventually, I found my calling, and have been doing what I would consider my life's work for the last 25 years. I may not have discovered that calling if I'd stayed with my one-day job or even the 100-day job. The world's default setting says you should take the easy position, or the one that pays the most, or the one that everybody expects you to take. But what if that job doesn't stir you? What if that job isn't the kind of job that wakes you up in the middle of the night with an exciting idea or solution you simply have to write down? What if it doesn't bring you joy? I know that many of you have jobs lined up that will start right after graduation, and I couldn't be happier for you. But I want you to truly consider that job and any other job you have in your life. Think about it carefully. Is it a one-day job? Is it a 100-day job? Or is it a lifelong learning opportunity that will grow you and shape you and help you do the things in life you're determined to do? The second job I had after graduating Tuck was on Wall Street. My manager came to me one day and asked me for a list of possible candidates for a leadership position. I made out a list of people I thought would be ideal for that high-ranking job. My boss considered the list, then turned to me and said, "Carlos, I believe you're the right person for that job." I was stunned. I just couldn't believe it. And I turned him down because I thought the job was too advanced for me. And honestly, I was afraid. So I called my father and told him what I'd done. And he said to me, "Carlos, I understand. Someday you'll be ready for a job like that." No, that's not what he said. He said, "Carlos, are you crazy? You find your boss right now and you tell him you want that job. You may not feel ready for it, but you're totally equipped for it. You are ready." So the next day I went to my manager and told him, I was just joking the day before and I'd gladly accept the position. Thankfully, he hadn't filled it yet. The world's default setting is to shrink away from challenges in your career or to think that you don't have what you need. Today, you're graduating from Tuck. That alone tells me you have what you need. But you have to remind yourself of this, especially when you are faced with a challenging opportunity. So change your career default. Change it from a good job is easy money to a good job challenges me. Turning off this default moves you from fearing failure to fearing something far worse, stagnation. Success is the most difficult of all the perspectives to shift because for most of us, we already know the world's default setting and we know what that setting should be. Still, it's hard for us to translate that knowledge and insight into decision-making and action. The world's default setting for success is to define it as what you do for yourself. But we all know deep down, success is what you do for others. The cliche is true, yet it's so hard to live that way. As an investment banker on Wall Street, I lived the fast life. It wasn't quite the Wolf of Wall Street level of craziness and debauchery, but my coworkers and I worked very hard and played hard too. I remember on days when we were bored and wanted a little excitement, we'd get up very early and from New York, buy a bunch of sovereign bonds at the London Open. Then while we waited for the American markets to open, we'd go treat ourselves to a big breakfast and wait. As people woke up and heard that our Wall Street bank was buying up mass quantities of sovereign bonds overseas, they'd follow suit, buying them up too. We'd finish our breakfast, go back to the office, and then sell our now inflated bonds at a nice profit. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. We were jerks. Now, we didn't do this for the money, really. We did it because playing and beating the system seemed like success to us. But it really wasn't true success. It always made me feel empty and hollow, hoping my career would become something more than just a way to earn money as fast and easily as I could. I realized that success is about changing a world, because changing the entire world is a big task. So I decided to choose one part of the world to change. For me, it was Peru, because I wanted more for my country. So from then on, every job I took, every task I was assigned, I viewed as ways to prepare me to do something good for the nation of Peru and its people. Whether it was working as an investment banker, or being a trader, running and managing a team, starting a new division, or going out on my own. Each stage molded me and taught me so I could make an impact on Peru based on my experience. My life is a testament to the power of education, and I truly believe that education changes lives. Armed with an education, almost nothing can stop someone. I also believe that everyone in the world has incredible potential. Sometimes they just need help unlocking that potential. Education does that. It gives people the tools they need to grow and become productive members of society, building businesses, impacting the economy, and raising standards of living. The more people are educated, the better it is for everyone. Because of that, I decided to change a world, Peru, and one part of Peru, its education system. Even though Peru's economy has grown faster over the past 2 decades than any other in Latin America, our education system is dead last in the 65 worldwide countries measured by the OECD. Dead last. It's terrible. There are multitudes of private schools, but they're hardly better than the public schools. The only difference is they cost money to attend. Peruvians deserve better. They deserve more. So I partnered with another Peruvian with a mindset on reforming education in Peru, as well as IDEO, the famous design firm, and we created Innova Schools. Each school is designed to be affordable for the emerging middle class, academically excellent, and replicable. Though Innova is still the smallest company in our group, it's taking on the biggest challenge in our country. To me, changing a world for the better through education is success. It's true success. It's not the first thing that people think of when they hear about me or search for me on the internet, but in my eyes, it's far and away the most important. So change your success default. Change it from success is what I do for me to success is changing a world. Because nothing makes you feel more successful than helping people become who they were meant to become. As you leave Tuck, you will find yourself surrounded by people espousing the world's default settings. They'll live by them, they'll talk about them, and they'll encourage you to live by them too. Misery loves company, right? But you have the chance today to commit to seeing the world differently. You can decide right now that from today forward, you'll do what you can to question every default setting the world offers you. You can commit to seeking out those voices that test your unique perspective and keep it fresh. So you stay focused on what's true and right, not what's considered accepted wisdom. You can get off the well-worn path and go the way you are meant to go. Choose to see adversity, your career, and success from the right perspective. Act on a new perspective. Let it change you, and let it change a world. I'll leave you with this. When I moved back to Peru 6 years after graduating Tuck, I was surrounded by an attitude toward work and challenge, summed up in a Spanish phrase I heard very often. Sí, pero. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, it's sí, S-I, pero, P-E-R-O. It means yes, but. That was the default setting I was surrounded by. Yes, we could do this, but. Yes, in theory, that's what we should do, but. There was always an excuse attached to the possibility of any great idea. I hated this default setting. It didn't strike me as true, and it clearly wasn't helping my business or our nation. So every time I heard the phrase, sí, pero, I stopped whoever was saying it, whether myself or somebody else. And I said, let's not say that anymore. Instead, let's just change one letter. Let's change an O for a U, and instead of saying sí, pero, let's say sí, Peru. Sí, pero was getting us nowhere. Sí, Peru, meaning yes, we can, no excuses, would open up to us a world of possibilities. You get to choose today if you will live in a world full of obstacles or one full of possibilities? Will you have an attitude of sí pero or sí Peru? Will you follow everybody else or go your own way? So today I want you to change your default settings. Change your adversity setting to seek them out. Change your career setting to challenge me. And change your success setting to change a world. If you live according to these new settings, nothing but success, true lasting success, awaits you. Thank you and congratulations, Tuckies.
Carlos, on behalf of everyone here, I'd like to thank you for coming and giving us the benefit of your wisdom. And come back up and take a picture, and I'll give you a small token of our appreciation. And now we come to the conferring of the hoods on the MBA candidates. Associate Dean Stockin will read the names of the candidates. The chairman of the Tuck Board of Overseers, Christopher William, will place the hoods over the candidates.
At this time, I'd like to call forward each MBA degree recipient to receive his/her master hood. As I call your name, please step forward, and the chair of the Board of Overseers, Christopher Williams, will drape the hood over your shoulders. Audience, there is no need to hold your applause until the end. Please feel free to applaud early and often. John Howe Wheelock. Henry K. Karongo. Edgar Aguilar Mesa. Griffin Graham Allen with high distinction. Andrew Allison. Vivian Alvarez Rosales. Catherine Amato with distinction. SUV Suraj Anatha Narayanan Vikatakalam. Kel Anderson. Kinomo Anigoro. Felicia Bikal Verena. Aleni Baijulayi. James Lawrence Barber III with distinction. Russell Clifford Barnes II. Emily Sue Bartlett. Nicholas Bozarian. Brooke Brown Beatiot. Nell Beatty. Divya Balavadi. Elia Bendich. Andreas Benachiak. Kerry Elizabeth Burke. Christopher James Blaine. Dan Bleiger. Ian M. Bomberg. Rafael Bonacci. Sarah Bull. Anatoly Borodulan. James Brennan. Zachariah Brewer. Joshua Bro. Hannah B. Brindleson. Daniel A. Butterly. Kelsey Byrne. Michael Cascio, with distinction. Gulen Kakmak. Daniel T. Calhoun. Sorry. Jeffrey Herbert Callahan. Vanessa Campion Alvarez. Horatio Carias. Emily Al Chen. Jenny Chen. Sandy Chen. Andrei Chernov. Carolyn Chu. Charles Pickering Turin Christensen. Alexandra Catherine Clegg. Benjamin Edmund Theodore Daly. John Harrington Dawson. Joseph Vincent Dubenes III with distinction. Keith Edward Delagrato. Raphael Dimitri. Jeffrey Devlin. Arpita Donapati. Melissa Dolan with distinction. Patrick Charles Donaldson. Kenley McIntyre Drake. Nikhil Datta. Teo Idun. Shishumu Iguchi. Michael Hotse Esbiar. Mark Etchen. William Riemann Ustin with highest distinction. Mary Evans. Jason Finkenkeller. Brian Flaherty. Trevor Scott Forbes. Robert Samuel Franklin. Rodrigo Frias Gonzalez. Brian Joseph Caffrey. Roberto Gallardo. Mateo Ferguson Gracia. Camilo Garcia de Querian. Ashwin Gargaya. Deirdre Graham. Adam Gangler. Michael Gentili. Joseph Gilletier. John Reed Gilbert. Elliot J. Gillerman. Juan Pablo Giovanelli. Leah Lucia Ann Goldberg. Ryan Golden. Tupasia Govindarajan. Benjamin Brunel Grant with high distinction. Catherine M. Gray. Amanda Christine Gross. Vicky Gu. Maxime Pierre-Jean Guillaume. Tatiana Gulnek. Santiago Gutierrez Zalvidar. Joshua Richard Hamilton. Justin Michael Hanchett Leon. Chloe Hanson Toon. Kimberly Hartman. Wesley Hastings. Carrie Helton. Mukesh Hemrajani. Adam Hewson. Elisa Robin Hill. Eugene Huey. Christine Angelina Howe. Ming Hui. Frederico Adeleo Pinto. Laura Unita. Isaac Niels Ibsen. Nathan Irvin Isaacson. Jacob Adam Johnson with high distinction. Erica Nicole Johnston. Derek David Jones. Marin Jurgens. David Andrew Kamer Jr. Diego Uhari. Sisanka Kata. David Katzman. Uday Kura. Kazuki Kawasaki. Anu Kayayasta. Nell Harding Kelleher. Deho Amos Kim. Ju Yeon Kim. Minsang Kim. Duncan Lewis Kirby. Sarah Kirsch. Eva Kaselevich. Daniel J. Kalberg. Simon Klockner with high distinction. Jackie Danielle Kosman. Abhimanyu Katari. Amit Kush. Jason Kuska with distinction. Kirsten Lorange. Jesse Lampert. Nicholas Lampson. Joanne Leo. Patrick Ryan Lawler. Michaela Lee LeBlanc. Jason Jae-sung Lee. Jun Hayup Lee. Daniel M. Lee. Heather Levy. Todd Salter Levy. Lu Lee. Tommy Lee. Yao Ji Lin. Isabella Andy Liu. Yueli Liu. Scott Ephraim London. Elizabeth Heather Loge. Andy Luca. Minyu Luo. Juan Ma. Jorge Magana. Joseph Magdovitz. Sarah J. Malab. Amelia Mann. Caroline Giles Mann. Anna Bugumawa Makovich. Michaela Matsul. Guillermo Mateus dos Santos. Jed McDonald. Brendan Daly McGeown. Deborah McGovern. Kara McKenna. Leslie McLaughlin. Morgan Elizabeth McLean. Luis Eduardo Mendoza Espinoza. Marshall H. Mintz. Carolyn Meyer. Daniel McGuinness Castro. Michael Merendi. Caitlin Moore. Dehung Nathan Nam. Sayantandi Nandi. Suman Natarajan. Michael Philip Needle with high distinction. Federico Nito Cabrita D. Almeida Bastos. Konstantin Nikolaev with distinction. Satri Nitala. Andreas Olate. Francisco Ortego. Pavan Urganti. David Peter Overson. Sarah Pacamonti. Guillermo Pachicuco. Braden Pan. Vishnu Parimi. Heon Bay Park. Anisha Patel. Magna Paulson. Leonardo Monti. Michael Edward Perrin with distinction. Muhan Kirun Pichika. Robert Plimpton. Christina Suzanne Pluta. Ryan Nixon Polke. Matthew B. Proscatano. Vishu Rajamani. Anant Raghu Pusapati. Jonathan Clark Gibb Renson. Sarah Elizabeth Reynolds. Alex Rogalski. Evan Ross. Erin Roof. Alexander Blaine Russell. Michael James Rikowski. Jamie Lynn Schuralt. Frederick Skold-Dagger. Kensington Elizabeth Schmidt. Hendrik Lucas Schroeder. Pabla Segovia Smith. Jorge Seldner. Moet Sardar. With high distinction. Jefferson Shaw. Joseph W. Shaw V with highest distinction. Carolyn Sherry. Caesar Sheehy. Peter Shively with distinction. Jane Shivrick. Alex Sierra. Joseph Leonard Smith. Ankit Suthi. Eric Sparks. Nicholas J. Stockler. Christopher Sokinnick with distinction. Lee Ming Sun. Robert Tan. Yu Ten. Calvert B. Thomas Jr. Mark Julian Thompson. Jennifer Lynn Teets. Theophanis Tikas. Jon Tumaszewski. Steve Chewy. Devin Matthew Van Riper. Sean Vanderland. Spencer Vaughn. Dante Figurasti. Phyllis Venu. Caitlin Brooke Vinci. Tanmay Waray. Christina Laura Botero. Erin Elizabeth Wall. Michael Edward Walsh. Nancy Elizabeth Walton. Christopher Weber with distinction. Alison Jean Wheeler. Margaret Ann Whitaker. Christopher M. White. Adam Hilton Wilson. Lindsay Dance Wyndham. Jasper Wright. Yan Shah. Lida Shu. Miss Wei Shu. Wei Shu. Yesen Shu. Zachary Yaffe. Kentaro Yoshida. Felix Zan. Effie Jean. Ann Zoe. Wendy Zao. Nicholas James Ziemba. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2015.
It's now my pleasure to introduce the chairman of Tuck's Board of Overseers, Christopher Williams, who will present the Overseers Medal. Chris is chairman, CEO, and founder of the Williams Capital Group and Williams Capital Management. He began his career with Lehman Brothers in New York, where he was senior vice president with responsibilities in debt capital markets, derivatives, and fixed income securities. Upon leaving Lehman in 1992, he formed Williams Financial Markets, a division of Jefferies and Company, which specialized in structuring debt financing for investment-grade corporate issuers. Chris has been published in 2 academic textbooks that outline the uses of financial derivatives in capital markets. In 1994, he founded the Williams Capital Group and has since directed the firm's strategic efforts in investment banking and its expansion into asset management. Both Fortune magazine and Crain's New York Business selected Chris Williams as one of the most powerful minority business leaders in America. Chris serves on the board of directors of Caesars Entertainment Corporation, Cox Enterprises Incorporated, and Walmart Stores. He's chairman of our board of overseers and serves on the board of trustees of Mount Sinai Medical Center, Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts, and Teachers College at Columbia. Chris is also an active board member of the Partnership for New York City and British American Business. Chris holds a Bachelor's of Architecture from Howard University and a Master's from Tuck. Please welcome the chair of our board, Chris Williams.
Well, thanks, Paul. And as I reflect on the fact that this is the last time in your capacity and my capacity that I'll have the pleasure of being introduced to an audience by you, I do think about the debt of gratitude that we owe you for making sure that the Tuck MBA degrees that this group of talented students and now graduates are receiving today, that they now are receiving something that is among the most valuable career assets available to anyone in the world. So I congratulate you, and I thank you, Paul, for all that you've done. And before I actually do read the citations for our 2 recipients of the Overseers Medal, I also want to make one observation. This, about midway through conferring the hoods, I reached my 1,000th student as in my capacity as chairman of the Board of Overseers, and I can certainly say that with the skill and grace with which all of you managed to receive your hoods, that's probably a great indicator of a lot of success to come. And to use a baseball metaphor, I'm sure the class of 2015 will knock the cover off the ball. So, way to go. Well, this year we are truly honored to be recognizing 2 very distinguished faculty members with the Overseers Medal. I will read the citations and present the medals to each recipient in turn. So I'll begin with Kenneth R. French, the Roth Family Distinguished Professor of Finance of the Tuck School. Professor French is a luminary in the field of finance, and he raises the intellectual standard of our entire school. Moreover, he is a gifted teacher who demands clarity of thought from his students and genuinely cares about their learning. In this way, Professor French is the embodiment of Tuck's ideal scholar-teacher. He has also been extraordinarily generous to Tuck with his time and resources, and for that, Tuck is extremely fortunate and grateful. Professor French is best known for his research that has fundamentally changed our understanding of the expected returns on stock investments. In the late 1980s, Ken and his longtime collaborator, 2013 Nobel Prize winner Eugene Fama, published 2 oft-cited papers, Permanent and Temporary Components of Stock Prices and Business Conditions and Expected Returns on Stocks and Bonds. Both of these challenged long-held view that the return on the stock market is essentially unpredictable. Instead, they showed that expected returns are linked to contours of the business cycle. Low when times are good, high when times are bad. It is hard to overstate the importance of our finding this for the world of investment. In the 1990s, French and Fama disproved another venerable theory, the capital asset pricing model, which held that a stock's systemic price, and systemic risk rather, was the single factor affecting its expected return. In two seminal papers, the cross-section of expected stock returns and common risk factors in stocks and bonds, they established their now famous three-factor model, which added factors related to size and value to the standard model and thereby formulated a much more empirically robust way to forecast a stock's returns. These monumental papers and dozens more Professor French has penned have been cited thousands of times, a truly astounding accomplishment, and have inspired hundreds of subsequent papers, both theoretical and empirical. Professor French's impact on practitioners has been just as strong. His three-factor model, for example, is used today to evaluate and improve the performance of mutual funds. As his well-buttressed criticism of active fund management has helped make passive investing, such as indexing, the favored approach for many investors. Indeed, Professor French's scholarly work is so applicable to the real world that he serves as both co-head of the investment policy and as a member of the board of directors at Dimensional Fund Advisors, an investment firm with more than $400 billion under management. Professor French joined Tuck in 2001 after teaching at the University of Chicago, Yale, and MIT, and established himself immediately as an intellectually curious and rigorous leader among the faculty members in the finance area. As always willing to provide feedback on his colleagues' work, he pushes them to see subjects in new and creative and searches for the most interesting insights about their research. In the classroom and among students, Professor French is viewed as a brilliant teacher without peer. Every year, students sign up for his investments class to get the unique experience of learning business principles from the person who first identified them, something akin to learning the laws of motion from Sir Isaac Newton. What they may not know at first is that he ultimately wants them to think clearly and rigorously, and investments are simply his way of getting them there. Then he joins many of them on bike rides through the Upper Valley, his favorite mode of exercise, to continue the conversation. In recognition of his outstanding contributions to the life of the school through research, mentoring, and teaching, the Tuck School of Business Board of Overseers is pleased to honor Kenneth R. French with the Overseers Medal for 2015. Congratulations. This over you? Thanks again. Thank you, Ken. Our second goes to Professor Vijay Govindarajan. Sorry, I had it and I blew it. Okay. The Cox Distinguished Professor of Management at the Amos Tuck School. Professor Vijay, as we call him affectionately, is one of the most respected and influential scholars of strategy and management. He has written best-selling books, coined business terms commonly used today, advised countless leaders of Fortune 500 companies, and taught and inspired thousands of students from the undergraduate level to senior executives. For the past 30 years, Tuck has been Vijay's home base for all of his work in school, and the school has benefited immensely in both its stature among business schools and its global reputation as a place where thought leaders thrive. VG has written dozens of articles in the Harvard Business Review and other prestigious publications, and is the author of 11 books that run the spectrum from a technical treatise on strategic cost analysis to a parable about innovation implementation that takes place on a farm with talking animals. What binds these articles and books together is an in-depth understanding of strategic practices at the best companies, gleaned from the field of research, and keen insights into how these practices can be translated to other firms and leaders. I am inspired by practitioners, VG has said. I live in the world of ideas, but for me, ideas come from the world of practice. Because of his passion for the practical and his clear and elegant teaching style, VG has become a sought-after, trusted source of wisdom on strategy and innovation for many executives. He plays a critical role in Tuck's executive education curriculum, designing and teaching in strategic innovation and leadership, the program of strategic innovation and leadership and Global Leadership 2030 Consortium. Recognizing VG's talent and vision in this regard, CEO Jeff Immelt, Dartmouth, 1978, named VG the first professor in resident and chief innovation consultant at General Electric in 2008, and he's currently serving as the Marvin Bower Fellow at Harvard Business School. The awards VG has won for his scholarship and teaching are too numerous to list completely, but the highlights are instructive. Most recently, he is recipient of the 2015 Carl S. Sloan Award from the Association of Management Consulting Firms. The Thinkers 50 has ranked him the #3 management thinker in the world. Business Week named VG to a list of outstanding faculty in its guide to the best business schools. And last but not least, he is a member of the Academy of Management Journal's Hall of Fame. VG's accolades are impressive, but perhaps the most important thing to know about him is that he is a warm, compassionate person who has never forgotten his humble roots in India. In fact, VG's background in a resource-constrained country is what has fueled his creative approach to innovation. Just one example of this is how his global initiative, to design a $300 house in the world's poorest countries, challenging architects, engineers, and business leaders to reach beyond conventional models to solve a notoriously intractable problem. This commitment to pursuing business solutions for the betterment of society is what has earned him his current title as the Cox Distinguished Professor at Tuck, in recognition of his passionate, thoughtful, and outstanding service to Tuck and to the students around the world. To the Tuck School of Business, the Board of Overseers is pleased to honor Vijay Govindarajan with the Overseers Medal for 2015. And I tried a couple of times, and I didn't get it right, so sorry. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Edward Tuck Scholars are those students who have demonstrated outstanding academic accomplishment during their 2 years at Tuck. Scholars are designated by the faculty at the end of the second year. I will now read the names of the Tuck Scholars and ask that they come forward to receive their certificates and be recognized. Please hold your applause until the names of all Tuck Scholars have been read. Recipients, after receiving your certificate, please line up in front of the lectern for a photograph. The Edward Tuck Scholars for 2015 are highest distinction, William Riemann Uston, Joseph Shaw. Those with high distinction, Griffin Graham Allen, Benjamin Brunel Grant, Jacob Adam Johnson, Simon Klockner, Todd Salty Levy, William Philip Needle, Moet Sadarda. Those with distinction, Catherine Jean Amato, James Lawrence Baber III, Michael Cascio, Joseph Vincent Dubanis III, Melissa Dolan, Ivo Kasishilevich, Jason Kuska, Michael Edward Perrin, Konstantin Nikolaevich, Konstantin Nikolaevich, Nikolaevich, Peter Shively, Christopher Sokunik, Christopher Weber. Tuck Scholars, Christopher James Blaine, Daniel Alfred Butterly, John Harrington Dawson, Mark Etchkin, Brian Flaherty, Robert Samuel Franklin, Joseph Giglietti, Laura Unita, Henry Corongo, Sarah J. Malab, Brendan Daly McGeehan, Sarah Pacamonte, Robert Plimpton, Frederick Scholl Duggar, Jefferson Shaw, Eric Sparks, Karthik Sudarasan, Jennifer Lynn Teets, Theophanis Tigas, Nicholas James Ziemba. At this time, we award prizes honoring those graduates who have distinguished themselves through excellence in the classroom and service to the Tuck community. The Herman Feldman 1929 Memorial Prize. This prize is awarded to a member of the second-year class who has done excellent work in his program or her program as a whole and who has displayed interest in the field of leadership. The recipient of the Feldman Prize is Jennifer Lynn Teets. The James A. and Sabra M. Hamilton Award in Administration. A desk set is awarded to that member of the second-year class who, through personal qualifications and accomplishments in courses in the field of business policy and organizational behavior, shows the greatest attributes of a capable administrator. The recipient of the Hamilton Award is Elliot J. Gillerman. Okay, congratulations. The Lieutenant Walter A. Jacobs Memorial Award. A substantial collection of books of the recipient's choice is awarded during the first year to a student who has demonstrated intellectual ability and curiosity, sound judgment in academic work and activities outside the classroom, and personal habits and conduct which inspire confidence and enthusiasm. The recipient of the Jacobs Award is Eric Sparks. The Charles I. Leibovitz Memorial Award. This is a cash award given to the second-year student who has, during the first year at Tuck, made an outstanding contribution to the daily life of the school. The recipient of the Leibovitz Award is Marin Jurgens. The Lillian and Charles Leach Prize for Excellence in Finance. This is a cash prize awarded to a graduating student who has shown excellence in the academic area of finance. The recipient of the Leach Award is Michael Philip Needle. Congratulations. Great work. The Darrow Sanders Award. This cash award is presented to a graduating student who, through both personal qualities and accomplishments in management communications courses, demonstrates outstanding ability to communicate effectively as a manager. The recipient of the Sanders Award is Brooke Brown Beat. The Tuck Centennial Student Award. This award is given to a first year and a second year student who exemplify the spirit and character of the Tuck School. Chosen by their classmates, recipients embody outstanding leadership, selflessness in everyday actions, extensive involvement in the Tuck and Upper Valley communities, and a firm commitment to the traditions and principles of the school. The second year recipient of the Centennial Award is David Katzman. The Julia Stell Award. A certificate is given to those students who have made a substantial contribution to the Tuck community through their leadership in school programs and functions and for their extraordinary efforts to help fellow students, especially in scholastic efforts. This prestigious award is named for the wife of Edward Tuck and co-founder of the Tuck School, Julia Stell. Please hold your applause until all the recipients' names are called. Recipients should please line up for a photograph. The recipients of the Julia Stell Award are Divya Belavadi, James Brennan, Michael Cascio, Brian Flaherty, Robert Gallardo, Adam Ganguler, Elliot J. Gillerman, Leah Lucia Ann Goldberg, Joshua Richard Hamilton, Maren Jurgens, David Katzman, Henry Karongo, Sarah Kirsch, Morgan Elizabeth McLean, Michaela Lee LeBlanc, Heather Levy, Michael James Richkowski, Hendrik Lucas Schroeder, Jennifer Lynn Teets, Theophanis Tigas, John Howe Wheelock, Lindsay Dance Wyndham.
I'm pleased to introduce the 2015 class president, John Wheelock. As president, John has served as chair of the student board, liaison to the administration, and representative to nearly 600 first and second year students at Tuck. Prior to Tuck, John worked as a consultant at Greenwich Associates. He holds a bachelor's degree in arts history from Colby College. After graduating, John will be heading to Washington, D.C. to work in innovation and consulting at Monitor Deloitte. Over the past 2 years, John has worked to maintain Tuck's unique culture of teamwork, academic excellence, and unrivaled enthusiasm. He firmly believes that providing the support and opportunity for students to pursue their passions, Tuck can produce the highest caliber of future business leaders for the world. John Wheelock.
All right, give me a second. There we go. All right, so graduation. Here we all are 2 years later, hopefully a little bit smarter, definitely more confident, a bit older, but even better looking than we were 2 years ago. So great to see you guys here today. I'd like to thank all those who supported us these past 2 years. So thank you to our families who are here today, as well as those who couldn't make it. We are eternally grateful for your encouragement and for your love. Thank you to the Tuck faculty for your instruction, your time, and your patience. Thank you to the MBA Program Office, the Deanery, the staff, employees, advisors, senior fellows, the student board, and all those who keep Tuck well managed and on the rails to success. Thank you to Dean Danos for his 20 years of service, and a warm welcome to our incoming Dean, Matthew Slaughter. And finally, a big thank you and round of applause for our Dean of Students, Sally Yeager. These last 2 years definitely would not have been the same without you, so thank you so much for your service. Most importantly, thank you to you guys, class of 2015. Now, I'm pleased to present our class gift. A donation to the Tuck Social Venture Fund will be used to make the maiden investment of their investment philosophy. 96% of the class of 2015 donated. We raised, as of today, $25,000 on the dot. So with these 3 alumni matches, we'll be contributing a grand total of $101,000, the highest of any Tuck class ever. So thank you guys, and thank you to the class gift committee for your incredible efforts. It was a great accomplishment. So a few remarks before I introduce our class speaker. I wanted to say that it has been an absolute honor and a privilege to be our student body president. It's been an amazing learning experience and one that will last a lifetime for me as I look back. I like to think of myself as a fairly serious person, but as you guys know, deep down I've always suspected that if you Tuckies aren't making fun of me, there's kind of something wrong. So I appreciate all the roasts, the Tuck Oscars, the Frosty Jester. You know, there are a lot of targets up here. My fascination with bears, dogs, and other aerodynamic animals, a love of obscure and probably not all that relevant quotes, and finally I tend to say crushing it in any scenario where I'm a little bit nervous and I don't know what to say. But most of all, it has been a ton of fun. You know, graduation brings about a mix of feelings, but the strongest one I can see here today is pride. And it's pride of what we have accomplished, both individually and collectively. And that's really been my ultimate goal, is to create that structure and opportunity for you all to do great things. And just a few examples, you know, Jen Teets hosting dozens of those small group dinners at the beginning of the year so we can get to know each other well, bonding over the table. Santi and Juan serving over 400 people the Argentino asado, getting up at 5 in the morning to cook the best steak you'll ever have. Ankit and Ken stepping up to lead these fun treks of 60-plus students to Japan and India. Nick Ziemba leading an Army Ranger overnight land navigation for Tuck Gives. The T-15 man playing a 40-song concert, and Mike Cascio just generally winning at life. So these are just a few of the countless examples of how Tuck students lead. I could be here all day naming more, but I appreciate what you guys have done so much. So my final message to you is bring that enthusiasm, that sense of accomplishment with you to the next leg of the journey. and go dominate. Now, our classmate who's going to speak next, he really embodies these values as well as anyone else. It's been a pleasure to be his friend, to get to know him well. He's a Tuck Scholar. He's a fellow in the Center for Global Business and Government. He's a member of the Class Gift Committee. He's an energy expert, a consulting guru who performs 12-hour consulting marathon sessions to get you all the good jobs. And most prestigiously, most famously, one of the lead singers of the T-15 band, who is a total rock star. So before I go, what speech of mine would be complete without a last quote? So I had to save you guys one good one. And here it is, my favorite. Burn always with this hard, gem-like flame. Maintain this ecstasy, because that is success in life. And that's what crushing it is all about. So finally, Henry Karango.
Invited guests, faculty, staff, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, the inimitable class of 2015, greetings. It's an incredible honor to address you today, and thank you, John, for that kind introduction. 92 weeks ago to the day, I stood there. And what I saw coming through that passageway near the library was a shock to the system. For the class of 2015 had turned into a pulsing technicolor mass of humanity that was now surging into Tuck Circle. Friends, this was the day of the scavenger hunt and my introduction to that time-honored Tuck tradition, the costume party. See, I wasn't prepared for just how many of these affairs would happen over the course of our 2 years here. In fact, I've been told that the Upper Valley's thrift stores and Amazon.com are very sad to hear that your Tuck careers are ending today. But what I hadn't fully grasped was your sheer dogged commitment to the cause. I mean, look at you now. Somehow, you figured out a way of turning even this day into some kind of costumed caper. Which is to say, don't you look absolutely magnificent in your new master's hoods? Congratulations, class of 2015. We made it. Many societies around the world say that it takes a village to raise a child. It is no different with MBAs. We wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the extraordinary contributions of many valuable players. We shall thank them in turn. To our parents, families, and friends, some of whom are here today, and others who are far away. Without your love and support, we couldn't be here today. You are also very patient for putting up with relentless social media postings about our parties and educational travel experiences. We are indebted to you forever. To the faculty, you pumped our brains full of strange facts, and boy, didn't you make our heads swim. And when we proved that the memory of the average MBA student is exactly, it's not that great, your fount of knowledge stood ready to fill our leaking minds whenever we ran dry. We are eternally grateful. To the administration and staff, at the best of times, we were a herd of unruly cats. I can hardly imagine what we were like at our worst. But you ably and cheerfully kept us all in line, so often unseen behind the scenes. We thank you for your tremendous efforts. I'd also like to thank Paul Danis, for whom this is his 20th and final investiture ceremony as Dean of the Tuck School. Dean Danis, look at us and see the fullest realization of your vision for the Tuck School. From increasing the class size, to raising the number of women and international students enrolled, to developing innovative curricular programs, you have honed the cutting edge of what a leading global business education should be. The Tuck community will miss you, and we are proud to have shared our 2 years here with you. And now, a very important thank you. I'd like to ask all the Tuck partners to stand up. Please stand up. Without a doubt, this is your day as much as it is ours. Many of you paused your lives to join us on these rural adventures. Every day we experienced, you did too. Those days we stumbled, you caught us without fail. Those days we triumphed, you celebrated the loudest. Every day you were with us, our source of strength, our reliable refuge. We cannot find words enough to express our appreciation for all you've done for us. So we will try these simple ones instead. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, T15s, I don't need to persuade you that your legacy here is secure. The admissions office handpicked you to spend 2 years at Tuck because it was clear that each of you brought something special to the class. Your talents, combined with your commitment to building the community here, yielded remarkable results, be it in case discussions in the classroom, in career activities, or even at the craziest of Cohen parties, and that means you, the Mexican fiesta. And after Tuck, you will distinguish yourselves in your jobs and conduct successful careers. Then again, I believe that many, if not all of you, were liable to find success, and great success at that, without ever attending Tuck. So why did we choose to quit enviable jobs, uproot ourselves from cities that we loved, and choose to spend 2 years of our lives here? I'll tell you why I came. I decided to attend Tuck because I felt a restlessness inspired by a crazy idea that somehow I could make a difference in the lives of Kenyans, indeed people across much of sub-Saharan Africa, by bringing them cheap, reliable, and sustainable energy. I was shocked by the fact that annual electricity consumption per person in my country is about a quarter, yes, 25% of what your fridge uses in 1 year. It felt wrong. And business school felt like the right place to try and find some answers. And so after 2 years of dialogue with you, my classmates, faculty, visiting executives, and others, I am even more strongly determined to pursue that goal that started it all. Why is that? It's because during my Tuck experience, I have become deeply certain of one of my core beliefs. I believe that we, all 276 of us, are uniquely positioned to apply our talents and energies to the world's most challenging problems. Indeed, it is our moral obligation. What makes this such an important quest for us? I argue that there are 3 main reasons. First, for the rest of our careers, the problems that we will face as leaders will be global, complex, and intimidating. In fact, consider some of the biggest news stories that broke during our 2 years here in Hanover. In September 2013, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change reported that the Earth is getting warmer and that there is a clear human influence on the climate. In April 2014, the English translation of Thomas Piketty's Capital in the 21st Century flew off bookstore shelves, igniting a global conversation about income inequality and its effects on our society. And in the fall of 2014, the Ebola virus traveled from 3 West African countries and knocked on the doors of major transportation gateways all over the world, raising the specter of a global pandemic. To which you may say, sure, those are serious problems, but aren't they beyond my reach as a freshly minted MBA? That leads me to the second reason I think we're well suited to this task. Because of our life experiences so far, and our Tuck education, we have the skills required to tackle these problems. We know how to build effective teams. We know how to make decisions under uncertainty and to anticipate unintended consequences. And we have an unrivaled level of access, be it through our personal networks we developed before Tuck, the friendships we have made here, and indeed the global reach of the institutions that we will work within. I find those two reasons persuasive by themselves. But I think the third and most compelling reason why we should apply ourselves to the most pressing problems of our time is our privileged cessation in society. Beyond our innate ability and acquired skills, we cannot ignore the role of luck in our path to Tuck. Luck takes many forms. Being born to families that invested heavily in our bringing, or having teachers and professors who worked hard to help us realize our full intellectual potential, or even finding managers and mentors who cared deeply about our success, offering us opportunities to prove ourselves professionally. In my case, I benefited from all three, all in Kenya, the country where I spent most of my years, a country where my having those advantages was most definitely the exception and not the rule. Unfortunately, such fortune smiles on far too few in this world. We count ourselves among that number. And now we find ourselves here, new members of a small cadre of leaders with the ability to answer the world's most difficult questions. It is precisely this fact that drives our moral imperative to apply ourselves to this most important of tasks. I think this is why we came here. And yes, it is a daunting challenge. It is very scary. Yet I find inspiration from President John F. Kennedy on an occasion much like this 52 years ago at American University in Washington, D.C. He spoke of one of humanity's darkest chapters in history, the threat of nuclear Armageddon during the Cold War. In a time when many believed it impossible for the US and the Soviet Union to find peace, JFK saw otherwise. His phrasing is dated, but the words maintain their power. For he said, our problems are man-made, therefore they can be solved by man. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Man's reason and spirit have often solved the seemingly unsolvable, and we believe they can do it again. Men and women of the class of 2015, I believe that we can do it again, that we can solve the seemingly unsolvable. The stakes are high, and the potential impact is incredible. Imagine if in our time, we develop the means to exploit our home planet's resources in ways that not only satisfy the needs of our generation, but those of future ones. Imagine if in our time, the world could become a more equal place economically and socially, regardless of your age, whether you're a man or a woman, your national origin, or even your color of your skin. And imagine, just imagine if in our time, we never had to contemplate again the idea of billions of people living on less than $2 a day. My friends, let us take the ideals that drew us here and now shine the light of the Tuck School into the world. With clear minds, open hearts, and brave souls, know that we are ready for and equal to the giant tasks before us. Because together, we have the power to change the world. Good luck and Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. And now I want to introduce Professor Colin Bladen, Tuck Dean Emeritus, who will read the Edward Tuck Letter. Please welcome Dean Bladen.
From the letter of Mr. Edward Tuck to President Tucker, October 12, 1904. In the conduct of the school to which you have done my father's memory the honor of attaching his name, I trust that certain elementary but vital principles on which he greatly dwelt in his advice to young men, and in today's day and age, young women, whether entering upon a professional or business career, may not be lost sight of in the variety of technical subjects of which the regular curriculum is composed. Briefly, these principles or maxims are absolute devotion to the career which one selects and to the interests of one's own superior officers or employers, the desire and determination to do more rather than less than one's required duties, perfect accuracy and promptness in all undertakings, and absence from one's vocabulary of the word forget. Never to vary a hair's breadth from the truth nor from the path of strictest honesty and honor, with perfect confidence in the wisdom of doing right as the surest means of achieving success. To the maxim that honesty is the best policy, should be added another, that altruism is the highest and best form of egoism, as a principle of conduct to be followed by those who strive for success and happiness in public or business relations, as well as those of private life.
This investiture ceremony will conclude with the recessional of the faculty and the graduates. As we conclude the ceremony, I would like to invite you all to join the class of 2015, the faculty of the Tuck School, administrators, staff, and friends, to a reception for the graduates in the Southwell Courtyard. Graduates, family, and friends, have a wonderful time of celebration. Thank you.
string quartet music, brass quintet's my favorite. And you were great. You sounded good. You are good. We're in New York?
Actually, Hartford.
Okay.